We're here.
We're here with Tanner All.
We're here with Phil Poirier.
And Phil
No,
Poirier.
let me fucking take over. We're here with Phil Poirier. One of the, you know what? Big thing about here at IF3 is a big thing. A big thing. A couple days ago, we had the Solomon fucking whatever 10 year party, man.
Can you believe it?
No, can I believe it? I'm gonna tell the funniest story, man. I'm gonna tell the funniest story right now because I got one about you right now. I got about. Listen to this.
Is it PG-13 or are we cool? Can you say that?
Oh, dude, we're full G-rated.
All right, G-rated. There you go.
G-rated story. Back in 1999.
Right, you are, Tanner.
Vail U.S. Open. I walked into the very first U.S. Open I ever went to, and there was a ski museum in Vail where they always did the welcoming party, and they always brought in every athlete, tried to have a party, do this and that. And you know what? Back in the day, to me, I was such a little guy. I went out to the U.S. Open with my mogul coach, Mitch Karinga. Big up Mijas. But man, going out there with
that like it was yesterday.
Okay, going out there with Mitch Karinga and actually going to that museum. The very first time I ever met this guy, it was the funniest thing because he's sitting there talking to Johnny DeCesare. You remember that, right?
Oh yeah.
Johnny introduces me to this guy, and he's just like, Tanner. You know how Johnny gets really excited all the time. If you ever know Johnny, when he talks about a story, he gets really excited. So he's like, Tanner, you don't even know this guy Phil. He does, you know, you saw it, State of Mind, right? Secret video, JF switch backflip. You know, you seen it, right? This guy right here, Phil Poirier, does it over 60-foot tables. He's gonna do it at the Big Air, Tanner. He's gonna be the shit. I was like, all right, Johnny, this is the sick shit. Like that is to me, and I was such a little guy skiing moguls, doing 720 iron crosses, Hollywoods. You know, back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Continentals, the Froggers.
Oh.
Dude, it was just this sick though. We're here 10 years later, and look, like this is life. This is my life. To actually say a decade later.
Tanner All.
And I'm still here with this guy. Like this is life. This is skiing. You're still
got
here.
Facial
like,
hair now and stuff.
I know, man.
It's crazy, man.
I wasn't even a day past puberty when I met you.
You had the tiniest voice too, and that was amazing. Cause this kid came to me at the 13 premiere and told me how much he respected me, and I was like, I knew he was, but he was just getting started.
Remember I went there with Craig Head? So,
no, that was.
We had some crazy times back in the day, and we hung out with some
actually
crazy
the 13 premiere was the last movie premiere they had at Oakley, US, because it was too rowdy, and JF Song got kicked out for taking a shit in the ladies' bathroom.
Well, I think I followed him in there because Scott Bowers and Pat Magellan and Greg Strauss, I think, took a lot of heat for me hanging out in the girls' bathroom with JF.
And you were drunk. Underage.
No, man, I was not drunk. I do not support underage drinking. And I do
That's
not.
Actually not. You know, you might have to edit that out of the movie because
because you know what it was, man.
But he was shit-faced.
I was a young kid and I was drinking a lot of Red Bull.
Yeah, a lot of Red Bull.
And I love Red Bull.
But then Oakley decided to do the 1242 premiere, and that was the comeback of the ski movie premieres after that. After the stupid.
And how many more premieres have we had at Oakley since then?
I don't know. I don't think any of them. I think they did a motocross premiere.
All I gotta say is like it's a cool thing to be here, like still far down the line, and it's good to see all the new kids coming up. But I'll tell you what, back in the day, just like when we can, like if there's a video anybody ever wants to look up in skiing, because I'm a skier, you're a skier, we're all skiers in here. The best ski video ever made, Glenn Plake showed me it about a couple years ago. Probably made back in 77 or 78. It's called the Winter Equinox.
Oh.
You think we're crazy? You think we like to have fun? You think we push the limits of our boundary? Man, I'll tell you what. The freestyle world back in the day, they gave away 8 Chevrolet Corvettes in 1 year to the Grand National Freestyle winner of the whole championship of what was going on back in the 70s. 8 Corvettes.
Yeah.
You're talking about flying. You're talking about flying around on Lear jets. You're talking about big TV time. You think we're big? We don't even know anything. Like that's the thing. Like you dig up our history. You don't think skiing's cool? Well, you better trail back to the late 70s, early 80s to find out what's really going on. If you want to trail even more further back, look up a guy named Dick Barrymore. Guy made some of the sickest ski videos back in the late 60s. He had a son named Ted Shred, and I don't even know his last name. Ted Barrymore, of course. But back in '69, there's a Dick Barrymore movie. I'm not even gonna put out the name because if anybody can actually find this video and know what I'm talking about, he has a son that is the very first snowboarding footage I've ever seen in my life. full-on snurfer style back in the 60s, launching off a wind that's going at least 30 feet down the hill, not even strapped in and stomping. Like
on 220s.
And that's coming from skiing. Yo, snowboarding, much respect. Danny, Cass, everybody out there, much respect. But you know what? Like, you've done a lot for us, but you know what? The love has always got to be mutual because you know what? We've always been here. You know, without skiing, there wouldn't be snowboarding, and without what snowboarding has done, we obviously wouldn't be here. So, you know, it's like I said, it's one love for everyone, everywhere.
You heard it from the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Tanner, all live here in the limousine, heading to the freaking, what's his name? The Telus Theater, which is right around the corner here, if I'm not mistaken.
I think
should we come out here?
Are we coming?
Oh, this is the opera. Club Opera. Opera. How do you say it in English?
The Club Opera. We ain't going to an opera.
No, that's not where we're going. No, it's actually a pretty cool place,
Look at
brother.
these girls. You want to go to a award show tonight?
I think these guys are waiting for that. What do we got here? The Romance. Pretty good. Sex shop, biggest sex shop in Montreal, right here on your right.
Yeah, there's that new dildo that just came out.
This is really crazy what's going on.
They got the Philly Pro model in there.
I'm not used to the big city life, you know what I mean? We skiers, we live ski life, mountain towns. Montreal, you guys, how you do it out here on the East Coast? You actually get snow down here and slide rails here?
Like
sure if I came, brother. Oh, I know. But if I came here and you got a lot of things easy to give into here in your country, man. That's maybe not the most positive of things, but it's a beautiful thing to know that, you know what? It might not be the biggest mountains, but you know what? The whole rail side of everything going on, everybody out here, there's so much there. It's crazy out here in Quebec. It's crazy out here in Canada. It's crazy on the East Coast.
Hello.
You know what I mean? It's two different worlds. You know what I'm saying? West Coast, East Coast. You know what? You got a big pushing of mountains. You got a big pushing of urban. You know what I mean? Like I said, it has to be a mutual respect between the urban, between the park lifestyle and the backcountry. And this is the first time in my life where I could look at it, and John Sims is gonna attest because you know what? It is crazy. We got to watch all the movies together, and you know what? The jibbing side. Just like we talked about the other day, man, jibbing and skiing, give me luck right now, Sims, because you're leaving me hanging, but that shit was crazy. Method Films, the closing segment of it, I never seen nothing like that, and I haven't seen real skiing like Dana Flair and Ian McIntosh in the Massive.
Yeah.
So for the first time, skiing is there, and Philou, couldn't be more happy to be here with you, my brethren.
I agree, brother. I agree. You guys took it to the next level, and I'm very happy with what I'm seeing in the ski world right now. And we have to go give up some awards right now, so we'll see you guys back inside.
Do we have time for Jason Leventhal to make a statement?
Yes,
do you still want to after hearing? Can you follow that?
I guess the only thing I was gonna add is it's a forced situation when you're living in the East and all you have is what you have. You're kind of forced to find new things to do on the same old terrain. So people out west, the terrain helps them progress. In the East, you still got the same old bench, the same old little like snow curbs on the side of the trails, little whoop-de-doos in the woods and stuff that really isn't even considered terrain in most parts of the world. But out here, because that's all you got, you make the best of it, and before you know it, guys like Will Weston and some of these other dudes are like making a ton of things, new stuff, and progressing the sport on stuff that most people just ski right on by, or say, oh, that rail isn't sick enough, or that's not gnarly enough. Well, you got to think of new things to do, and just that's what enables progression, is to look at the same old thing and think dramatically different about it.
Respect.
Word. True that.
Job
True
blessed,
that, brother.
dude.
Good job. See you
Sometimes
inside,
it's
boys.
not about what's sick enough, but what's fun enough.
At the end of the day, we're all skiing, right?
And what's not, and just like
And we're
you
all
said,
being, you know?
it's not
Not
what's
just
sick
people
enough,
skiing,
it's what's
people
fun
being.
enough. And
People being
all
people.
I'm going to leave you is this right now. It was a beautiful thing. And everybody look out to hang out with it, like to look out for this kid, Henry Carlo, because he's going to do big things in our ski industry. The biggest quote I've ever heard in my life, and this is what I'm going to leave you as tonight before we go into this awards show. I've never heard a 17-year-old kid only breathe, eat, shit, sleep, and ski. And the one thing that really moved me down in New Zealand, kid looked at me and you know what, dog? He looked at me and he was like, yo, T, dog, you know what skiing is? Skiing equals F-U-N, man, and that's all it is, dog. Fuck
Word.
Henry Carlo, much respect, dude. It's a big thing, man. Here we go. Let's do this. IF3. What?
Good job, son.
Crazy.
Craziness.
Nice. That was the greatest experience.
Pardon? Ouais.